Hi everyone, welcome to my Game Week 37 transfer plan video. I can't believe it, only 2 more game weeks left to go. If you're like me and you're chasing a couple of mini leagues, then this video is perfect for you. I've got 3 players in a very aggressive approach to the remainder of the season that's going to help us shoot up those mini leagues. Now, if this sounds good to you, do me a favor, drop that like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. Before we get into the transfers, I always like to look at my squad and see where I can make improvements and which players need to actually go. As you can see, I've got 1 free transfer and I've got 3.2 million in the bank, so I should be able to get to most players, and I'm also willing to take a hit if I feel that the ceiling is high enough. Now, when I look through this squad, I can see that I've got double Arsenal versus Newcastle, which is not ideal. I had double Arsenal versus Liverpool and that didn't go well at all. Triple Crystal Palace is a potential problem for all of us. Why? They've got the FA Cup fixture after the deadline. So it means we're not even sure if they're going to play in the fixture for Game Week 37, because once the deadline goes in FPL, they're going to play their FA Cup final against Manchester City, which means they could get injured, they might get rotated. There's so many unknowns. So that's quite frustrating, and maybe I sell one of the Crystal Palace players. Isak is a potential issue as well. Fixtures are difficult. He's not been so involved, and I think I could upgrade that position with someone with superior fixtures. But the rest of the team looks pretty good, so I'm optimistic about going into Game Week 37. So the first player I'm going to talk about is Ollie Watkins. I can see he's going to be very popular transferring for this upcoming game week. Now, last season, he was an FPL manager fan favourite, practically played every game, every minute, took penalties. There was just so many ticks and had an outstanding season. This one's been a bit different. Rashford coming in the January transfer window potentially sabotaged some of his minutes, and all of a sudden he wasn't a locked asset like he was last season. But I'm here to tell you, I love him for this upcoming game week, and here's the reasons why. First of all, let's look at the 2 remaining fixtures. It's Spurs and Manchester United. Don't forget, there's no more other cups for Aston Villa, so there's no distractions. Basically 2 remaining games where they can play their strongest team in both games. So rotation is not going to be an issue here. Now, what do these 2 teams have in common? Yes, they both play in the Europa Cup final and they've clearly tapped out of the Premier League. I mean, literally, I haven't seen a scenario like this where 2 teams who are hideous in the Premier League are actually reached the European Cup final. It's very strange to see. I mean, the rest of Europe must be thinking, wow, this Premier League is super strong. But the reality is, these 2 teams have been hideous and they've been poor for such a long time. I mean, they don't even have 40 points. This used to be a margin we looked at for you to be safe in the Premier League. But fortunately for them, we've got 3 very, very poor teams. So they're okay. They're going to remain in the Premier League. Lucky for them. And this tells you how much they're going to be focused on that European Cup final, because it's the only way they can actually redeem and salvage something from this hideous season. When you look how they've been performing in, say, the last 10 fixtures, it's so poor. You know they've completely tapped out, which makes Ollie Watkins such a good pick. I mean, captain material, honestly, such a good pick. Now, with Ollie Watkins, one of the things that really frustrated us, I touched on earlier on, was his minutes. It was a bit all over the place. But recently, things have changed. He played 90 minutes in the last fixture, got the goal, so hopefully the confidence is there. But more importantly to this is the injury to Marcus Rashford. At one stage, Rashford had started to eat into his minutes and into his position, which a lot of us were shocked. We thought Rashford is only going to play wide left or potentially wide right. Nope, he started to play through the middle as well. Now Rashford is injured. It don't sound like he's training, which means he's not going to make the Spurs fixture, and he can't play against Manchester United, which means Watkins should play the remaining 2 games, hopefully 90 minutes, and now you can see why he's starting to become a lovely, lovely pick. And when we look at our squad, like I touched on earlier on, Mateta's a potential issue. He's been slacking. We don't even know if he's going to play in Game Week 37 after the FA Cup. Isak, again, someone I could sell. Watkins is waiting there, affordable, ticks all the boxes. And if you're still not convinced, I mean, just take a look at this. This is data from Fantasy Football Scout, looking at the last 6 game weeks. Look where Tottenham and Manchester United are. Look how many goals they've conceded. Tottenham 15 in the last 6 games and Manchester United 12. Look at the amount of shots they've conceded in and out of the box and the total. So the fixture's gorgeous, the minutes should be perfect, and when you add the motivation Aston Villa have to try and get into that Champions League, it will mean everything. I mean, a manager like Unai Emery thrives on that. He's taking every game as almost a cup final fixture. For me, all of this means one thing. He is going to be hot property for the remaining 2 game weeks. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree. The second transfer I want to talk about is Cole Palmer. Now, this might be a controversial transfer for some of you, but wait, hear me out. Look, even he's saying, shh, just wait. Now, I know Chelsea and Cole Palmer together have not been performing recently, but I'm here to tell you, look at the upcoming fixture. It's Manchester United. What have I just spoken a minute ago when I was talking about Watkins? Manchester United have tapped out completely. And Nottingham Forest away at one stage was a poor fixture, as the FDR does show you there, but now maybe not. They're conceding so many chances. Chelsea's another team with just 2 remaining games left. No rotation. They'll be playing their full power squad to try and get into that Champions League position. Now, when talking about Cole Palmer, I want to get this out of the way nice and early. And that is, he has been stinking up the place. I mean, just look at this last 12 or 15 fixture run I've got on the screen here. He's only had 2 returns, only one of them a double-digit return. And for someone for that price, you're thinking, why would you break your team or use your valuable transfers to bring him in? And I totally get it. I'm one of the players, I sold him weeks ago because he was super frustrating, and I've not regretted it. He's not made us regret that, has he? But there's a reason I'm suggesting him this week, and I'm going to run through it now in a bit more detail. First and foremost, the way the fixtures have landed for game week 37, we're going to run through them quickly, and it would hopefully shed some more light on why I think Palmer's a good pick. First of all, picking a captaincy this week is maybe not as straightforward as it has been in previous weeks. So Aston Villa versus Spurs, no problem. If you bring Watkins in, he's a potential captain candidate. Totally get it. Chelsea versus Manchester United, without a doubt, this fixture we can target Manchester United like we've spoken about a minute ago. And if you are picking a Chelsea asset, it has to be Palmer. The minutes, yes. The pedigree's there. The penalties are there. Everything is there. If we're looking at historical data, I know you won't go near him. But if you're like me and you're chasing mini leagues or overall rank, this is the type of player who can shoot you up there. And the reason I say this, go look at your mini leagues. You're going to see most teams look very similar. You might have someone like Wissa instead of Wood. You might have someone like Sarr instead of Eza. Small differences. And if you're trying to make up 5 points or 10 points, maybe you don't need to go as aggressive and get Palmer in. Totally get it. If you're trying to make up 20, 30 points in the next 2 game weeks without a chip, I think this is the route you're going to have to take. You bring someone like Palmer in, his ownership is not that high, loads in your mini leagues won't risk it, and you could even captain him. I mean, that makes it a much more risky play, but if it pays off, you've closed that gap instantaneously. And that's the way you have to play FPL at times. If you're trying to make gains that big, you're going to have to be realistic. If you're playing from a defensive perspective, like you're top of the league, you probably don't have to go there and risk it, because it is a risky move. We're not disputing that. Let's quickly finish off the fixture. So Everton versus Southampton, we won't pick a captain there. West Ham versus Nottingham Forest, nope. Even though Bowen has been excellent, you're not going to captain him. Brentford versus Fulham, maybe in Mbumo again. A lot of us captained him last game week. Leicester versus Ipswich, I mean, there might be a potential captain candidate there. We'll discuss someone later on. Arsenal versus Newcastle, it's not the best fixture. I don't think we want to pick a captain from this game. Brighton versus Liverpool, you could definitely captain Salah. Whether you want to risk captaining a player that they're all currently partying in Dubai, the manager's in Ibiza, are Liverpool on the beach? I mean, I'm not quite sure, so that's up to you to decide that. And Crystal Palace versus Wolves, you don't even know what Crystal Palace are going to play, whether they're going to be fit, so you're not going to captain someone from there. And lastly, Man City versus Bournemouth is not an ideal matchup, so I don't think we're going to pick our captaincy from there. So you can see the way the fixtures have landed, Palmer could definitely be someone that comes into my team, and I fully commit and make him captain. It's a much more risky move, and maybe a move you should only do if you're trying to make up 20, 30, maybe 40 points. This is the type of player who without a doubt is capable of doing that. Now, I mentioned this with Watkins and Aston Villa, and it's only fair I mention it for Chelsea. Just look how close it is for that Champions League spot. In fact, Chelsea and Aston Villa, they're both on 63 points. There's only one position, so they're going to be going full power for the remaining 2 games. It's no surprise I'm picking players with that type of motivation in this time of the season. You'll find a lot of teams don't have much to play for, and you can see it in their performances. Where Ollie Watkins and now Cole Palmer, they have to play like it's the start of the season. Everything depends on it. Now, the one thing I should mention actually is that red card for Jackson does put a bit of a spanner in the works. Now, I prefer Palmer when he has Jackson as an outlet. A lot of people don't like Jackson, maybe if he's finishing, but he's outstanding in running the channels, and Palmer always has an option for a pass when Jackson's on the pitch. So I'm not quite sure, the only unknown, I'm not quite sure how they're going to cope without Jackson. Do they just play Neto or someone like Sancho up top? I'm really not sure, and how that impacts Palmer. It wasn't ideal. Before he got sent off, The Palmer pick was looking even more juicy. Now it adds a little bit more of an unknown to this pick here, but I'm still going to stand by this pick if you want to play very aggressive and you need to pick a player that not many in your mini leagues will have. And the last transfer I'm going to talk about is Jamie Vardy. Yes, the Red Bull drinking, Premier League winning, absolute legend. Now the two remaining fixtures, Ipswich is the juicy one. Ipswich at home, perfect fixture. Leicester already relegated, so nothing to play for, to be fair. But with Vardy, we're going to talk about in a bit more detail. He does have individual stuff to chase, which is actually quite important in this case here. Now when we're talking about fixture, Ipswich fixture is plump. We looked at this graphic earlier on. Just look where they are. 14 goals conceded in the last 6 games, but look at the shot volume they provide you. 88 inside the box, 40 outside the box, 128 total in 6 games. Just think about how crazy that is. Now, I know Leicester have been hideous this season, but if you've watched them recently, their attacking play's been not too bad, and Jamie Vardy has been at the end of some of these chances. But when we're talking about Jamie Vardy as a potential pick, it's not just about the statistics. With him, there is also individual accolades he's chasing. And what I mean by that is, he's leaving Leicester, that was announced. I mean, that's huge news. But more importantly, he's currently on 199 goals. And you're telling me they're not going to do everything in their power to get him to 200 goals in his last fixture at home. I think it's one of those scenarios, like Liverpool with Mohamed Salah, they will be doing everything to get them those individual milestones. And I think in this case here, Vardy surely hits that 200 goal mark in the upcoming game week against Ipswich at home. Now, I know we should never pick FPL players on sentimental value or stuff like that. I know, I totally get it. But in this case here, Vardy has actually had output in the last 2 games. The minutes have been incredible. And like I spoke about at the start of the video, and there's been a theme here, especially with Cole Palmer, he is super low owned. He's 4.8%. So if you're chasing in mini leagues and they've got players like Wissa and Wood or Cunha, and they don't have Vardy, this is again an opportunity. Yes, it comes with risk. You could pick someone like Vardy, he does nothing, and the obvious pick like a Cunha or Wissa performs. We know this. But if that's the case, you've both got the same players, how are you catching them in the last 2 games? So in this video, I have tried to more focus on a couple of differential picks that could shoot you up there. And to make it even more juicy, I don't think Ipswich will be looking to park a bus. I mean, you can tell by their shot volume that I don't think they do that. And even if they do, it's not successful. I think they will naturally, as I said, another relegated team, think they could beat them, which means it'll be an open game, which means it leaves space for Vardy, which we all know he's still capable of exploiting. We know he's not as rapid as he was 15 years ago, but he's still on the shoulder, still very dangerous, and I can honestly see him getting 1 or 2 attacking returns. Get in the comments and let me know what you think about this pick here. Is it outrageous? Would you never ever consider someone like Vardy? So this would be my team for Game Week 37 if I make one of these transfers. Raya in goal versus Newcastle at home, it's not ideal. Should I play Areola versus Nottingham Forest? I mean, that's not exactly great either. Currently, I've got the double Crystal Palace players, Munoz and Eza, absolute legends from Game Week 36, but I could change this. I'm still playing around with it. I'm not quite sure if they're going to actually start. Do they get injured in the FA Cup? So that one there is still a bit of an unknown. Currently, they're in the starting 11. Milenkovic and Alanga, double Nottingham Forest. They've slacked big time. I mean, you saw their owner running onto the pitch against Leicester. You could see how frustrated the club is at the moment with their recent performances. Vardy definitely starts, my only Man City player basically, so I'm hoping he plays left back where he can actually attack. In Mbumo and Wissa, 100% starting. They should have had hauls in the last game. If you watched them and you saw the statistics, very, very unfortunate. Mohamed Salah, who was basically forcing it against Arsenal, it was obvious at one stage, and it wasn't the best performance. I'm really hoping Brighton, who do give up much more chances than Arsenal, I'm hoping he can actually take them in this upcoming fixture. Watkins, potentially my new signing against Spurs, maybe even captain candidate. I do like him. And as you can see, I'm actually tripled up on Aston Villa. I've currently got Rodgers and Konsa on the bench. Konsa, I don't mind too much. I think Spurs could get a goal, but Rodgers doesn't sit well with me. But I've had a love-hate relationship with Rodgers. Every time I play him, he doesn't get points. When I bench him, he gets points. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. That could change before the deadline. And lastly, Isak. There's a small possibility I sell Isak instead of Mateta. But I mean, there's a couple of things that would need to happen for me to do that. But as of things right now, more than likely Mateta would leave and Isak will stay in the team and starts in this game here. The bench would be Areola, Rodgers, Konsa and Saliba, third on my bench. Let me know what you think about my potential starting 11 and my new signing. I hope you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found the video useful. Get in the comments and let me know what you think about my transfers in this video. The season is soon over. I'd really love it if you would leave a like, leave a nice comment, and more importantly, subscribe please. I've been making content all season. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, but I'd really appreciate it. And give me some feedback. Let me know what I should be doing next season, how I can improve. I mean, I won't be offended. Let me know, get in the comments and let me know, and I'll take that on board to hopefully improve the content for you. So the last thing I'm going to say is I wish you good luck and see you on my next video. One more game week to go.